Hello guys, welcome one more time to JTest class. Today we're going to be doing an introduction to computer networks. My name is Javier and I welcome you. Okay, so let's begin by defining what are networks or what networks are. Okay, so by the dictionary, network is a group of or systems of interconnected people or things. So imagine that you're at a conference, you go there to meet other people, exchange ideas, you all work in the same industry. So this is commonly known as networking. Networks provide a way to interact with others, to communicate ideas, or to bring people or things together. So what about computer networks? Well, computer networks are not different than this. Computer networks are just another way for computers, though, to communicate with each other. So if you look at it in a simple way, a network of computers is like attending to the conference example that we put before. But instead of humans exchanging ideas and so forth, it's just computers that share resources between them, like PDFs or emails or things like that. Okay, so how do the computers communicate? It's a really good question. And the computers use things known as standards, protocols, and when we go to a deeper level, it's more things like packets. So the standards define what the protocols are. The protocols define how the packets move in the network and what they should follow. And the packets simply they just carry the information that the computers exchange. So let's look at it this way. Okay, let's imagine you're writing a letter to a friend or to a family. First, you need to write the letter, of course, but to be able to send the letter, you need to follow the post office standards. So you need to put the address on the right place. You need to put the stamp on it on the right place and things like that. You need to seal it. Then you need to take it to the post office, which will take care that will verify that the letter follows the standards. And then the post office sends that letter with your stuff on it, or your writing or your paragraph explaining things or the money that you sent to the person that you're being sent it to. So let's talk a little bit more deeply on each one of these. So what are standards? Well, standards define how things should work or should behave. It's like traffic laws. Imagine that if you don't stop on a stop sign or on a red light, you may have an accident. If a cop is behind you, you're getting a ticket for sure. So standards define how protocols allow computers to maintain a reliable, secure, and fast communication. So it's like a computer not stopping on a stop sign. Okay. So what are networks protocols then? Well, the networks protocols are a set of established rules that dictate how to format, transmit, receive different data between computers so the devices can communicate. If we look back at the example of sending a letter, networks protocols are the way an envelope has to be prepared in order to be sent or to arrive to the other location. Now, in other words, protocols ensure the standards are met. There are many protocols out there. Basically, there is a model that defines all the protocols, and this model is called Open Systems Interconnection, or OSI for sure. So what is the OSI? Well, the OSI characterizes and standardizes the communication functions of telecommunications or computer systems. What does this mean? Well, it's OSI model just defines the standards that protocols must follow to ensure the communication. Now, the OSI model consists of 7 different layers that help us to visualize how computers talk. And when you get more knowledge of networks, the OSI model layers will allow you to troubleshoot network issues. So which are these levels? Well, if we go from the top down, we're gonna find 7 is the application, which defines how applications work in a network. Something like your web browser, Skype, and things like that. Okay, so layer 6, we'll go one more down, defines how the data is presented to the network or the application. So when your computer receives a packet, it's gonna go through all these layers, and when it gets to the presentation, it's gonna be like, okay, how do I change myself so the application can understand what the data is being sent? Now, if we go down to layer 5, this session layer defines how the computers will maintain the communication between each other. So normally this is based on sequence numbers. So it's like how you keep track of which number you're in line. You got a ticket with a number that you are the 5th on line, things like that. Now, if we go down to the transport layer or layer 4, it defines the way that data is going to be sent across the network. So it's like, imagine it defines how would you move, for example, to one country or another. Would you take a plane? Would you take a train? Would you just take your car if you live close by? So it regulates, for example, think of an airline. The transport layer also regulates how many packets or how much data can be sent in one packet. So imagine that the airline says that there's only 11 people that can go in the plane. Well, then they need another plane to send the rest of the people. Now, layer 3 defines how the data, the network layer, defines how the data is transported from one point to another one. So it's simply what route it's going to take. Are you going to take the highway 1 or the highway 15 or things like that? Layer 2, or data link, defines how the communication is created between two directly connected devices. So between your computer and your router, or your wireless access point, or things like that. Okay. So layer 1, we go down to the first layer. This is just a physical layer. This defines how the data is converted from digital to electrical impulse, or to light, or to electromagnetic waves in the case of Wi-Fi. So it's most knowledge of people mostly relate the physical layer with the cable or the Wi-Fi signal, or if you use fiber, then the fiber cable. Okay, so what's next in networks? Well, we have things like protocol suites like TCP/IP and network devices. So we're going to be talking more of these different topics on the next video. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope this was informative, and if you like it, please click on like and submit and share with your friends. Thanks, and have a good day.